Bitcoin explodes as it hits $73,000. What's going to happen next, and what does this mean for altcoins? And Solana has launched a stablecoin, and Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong says the next SEC chair should drop all the nonsense lawsuits against the crypto industry. I'll share all the details. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we got to start by talking about Bitcoin. Look at this beautiful chart. Bitcoin hitting $73,000 today, folks. Look at these green candles on the daily chart, looking very bullish. And the setup we've been talking about for weeks now, where we've been seeing higher highs and higher lows, has played out beautifully. And Bitcoin is on the move upwards, guys. Looks very good. If you zoom out on the chart, it just looks really good here. And of course, we're watching Bitcoin closely to see if it breaks through the all-time high it hit earlier this year of around $73,500. And once it breaks through that, guys, it's going to enter into price discovery. It's going to be an amazing time. Now, a couple of things we do want to watch is that the election is around the corner. There could be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Bitcoin may pump this week to maybe 80K and then correct next week, but that wouldn't be a big deal. I'm just letting you guys know that there's different things happening in the market where people are hyping up, okay, Trump may win and that's good for crypto. I think the markets are pumping regardless of who the president is, but that's a narrative that's out there. And I'm following the data, the metrics, and so forth. I'm not trying to follow narratives because narratives can be put out by anybody. That's what mainstream media does, right? And don't get me wrong, I believe Trump would be great for crypto businesses in the United States and getting legislation passed. But the price action, as I stated in yesterday's podcast, this is due to global liquidity, continued debasement of currency, and so on and so forth. So guys, very, very bullish. I like what I'm seeing here. I think we're seeing confirmation of the escape from this boring as hell zone that we've been dealing with for the past 6 months. So really, really good. And when you zoom out on the log chart, it just looks even more beautiful. You just see the escape happening here. Now it's going to be a process, right? This thing doesn't go up in a straight line. We all know how the market cycles play out. It breaks through resistance, pulls back, builds support levels, continues to move up and break resistance and so forth. So it's going to stair step its way out, as I've been telling you guys. But man, I am bullish, guys. I am bullish. And of course, the seasonality aligns with this. The election is about a week away where the uncertainty will be removed and markets can keep moving. People can focus on other things like the market versus the politics and the election and all these things. So things are setting up very beautifully here. And one of the things I want to highlight, guys, is that the stablecoin supply continues to increase. Just today, over 1 billion in stablecoins was minted. Tether minted 1 billion USDT. For USDC, you had over 150 million minted. So where's that liquidity going to go? Into the crypto market. These are the things I've shared with you over the past year, trying to paint the picture of where we're at in the market cycle, and that whales are accumulating and big institutional investors are here, and don't be dismayed by market volatility. So we are seeing further proof of continuation of the bull market, guys. Here's what legendary trader Peter Brandt, who I've had on the podcast, had to say about Bitcoin's move. He said, there are numerous ways to determine targets. One variable is whether semi-log or linear scale is used. Target of $94,000 is measured move of triangle projected from the breakout level on the semi-log. A swing target can also be determined by projecting the November 2022 low to March 2024 high, upwards from August 2024 low, as shown also on the log scale. For now, I think this is a stretch. My rule is one target at a time. So I think many different traders and analysts are recognizing what is happening here. And this is what we've been waiting for. And once again, it's not going to happen overnight. Now, Bitcoin could surprise us and say, you know what? 80K by Thursday or Friday, right? Who knows? But we'll have to wait and see. But I like to play it conservatively. and not get too crazy with price predictions and so forth. One thing's for sure, I know which direction we're heading. That is up, and the bears are in trouble, folks. Here's what Dan from 360 Trader had to say. I had him on the podcast a couple months back. He said, Bitcoin all-time high test coming and the last of higher external liquidity. Bears wanting another sweep of the lows forgot they already had three over the past 220 days. Bulls had none. Expecting another sweep of the lows is just greedy. So bears are trying to call for 40,000, right? But Bitcoin is saying no, not at this point. Now, as always, we're talking probabilities here, and the bullish scenario, I believe, has the higher probability of playing out. But we can't say nothing bearish will not happen because you could have black swan events, right? Those are things we can't plan for, or they're unforeseen. So if everything goes according to the normal cycle movements and there's no black swan events, I think this is a very bullish setup. One thing I want to highlight is that we are seeing some movement on the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And you see here, there's a breakout happening as well. So my hope is that this continues following Bitcoin's move. And guys, that liquidity starts to flow to the altcoins. I tweeted about it today, the money flowing crypto, fiat to Bitcoin. Bitcoin makes its move. It gets overbought. The liquidity starts cycling down to the different altcoins, large cap, mid caps, and small caps, and so forth. Rinse and repeat. So just keep that in mind. Some of you may be like, why is my coin not pumping? Well, you have to understand what phase we're at in this cycle. And this happens on a micro and a macro level, and it happens in phases as we head towards the blow off top. It took me, don't get me wrong, it took me years to understand this. And by understanding this, I'm able to make money. It really puts my emotions to the side. I don't have to fear or panic. And I can just look at what's happening in the market and look at Bitcoin dominance and these type of things. So guys, the setup is beautiful here. I love what I am seeing. Now, quick word from our sponsor, and that is VeChain, which is one of the top layer one smart contract enterprise blockchains, guys. VeChain works with many different companies and brands around the world to build Web3 technologies and decentralized applications. Some of the great features of the VeChain blockchain include it is secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. Some of the companies working with VeChain include Givenchy, BMW, Walmart China, PwC, Boston Consulting Group, and many others. I'm a VET token holder. I have been for years. I'm bullish on this project. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vechain.org. The link will be in the description. Now, guys, we got some very big news around Solana. They have launched a stablecoin. Seems everybody's launching a stablecoin these days. So they said, welcome SUSD, a US Treasury bill backed stablecoin on Solana built by Solana Labs. So this is really big for Solana, and it's a smart move. And we know Ripple is also working on theirs, and theirs should be launched soon as well. So they said SUSD joins a growing ecosystem of products issuing tokenized US Treasuries on Solana, including Ondo Finance, USDY, and Maple Finance. So guys, really big move here for Solana, and we'll see what type of adoption this stablecoin gets. I'll try to get some money from Solana or Maple on the podcast to talk about this, but the competition's heating up, and look, competition's good for consumers. And if you recall, just last week, I wrote a newsletter, and be sure to sign up for my newsletter. It's 100% free. It's on Substack. I wrote a newsletter titled "The $1 trillion Stablecoin Market is Coming." And I talked about, the launches, stablecoin legislation, Stripe acquiring Bridge for $1.1 billion and much more. And this news I think will help fast track the stablecoin market to get to $1 billion. So things are heating up, folks, and let's see if legislation comes in by the end of the year or early 2025. Now, some more Solana news. They have partnered with Chainlink. So they said Chainlink data streams are now available on Solana, bringing low latency pull-based data oracles to help power the DeFi ecosystem. Now, I am a holder of Chainlink. I'm very bullish on this project. It did well for me in 2020, and I'm taking a bet on it again. And I bought the bear market bottom, and I'm hoping it can crack $100 this cycle. There's no guarantee, but this is why I diversify, and I'm expecting big things because of the adoption and how many people are plugged into Chainlink and using their oracles. And of course, I have some SOL tokens in my portfolio, not a lot, but I noticed that a lot of liquidity and VC liquidity was coming into Solana. So I took a position in Solana around like 18 to 20 bucks, and some more at a later time around 100. And of course, my portfolio is up because Solana is up significantly. Now, guys, we got some very bold statements coming from Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. He tweeted out the next SEC chair should withdraw all frivolous cases and issue an apology to the American people. It would not undo the damage done to the country, but it would start the process of restoring trust in the SEC as an institution. Big statements coming from the CEO of a publicly traded crypto exchange, the largest in the United States, and a big campaign donator to the super PAC around crypto, right? So he's spot on, guys. The next SEC chair has a lot of cleanup to do, and we know for sure Donald Trump is going to fire Gensler. However, we're not too sure about Kamala Harris. Her campus said they want to do a reset and they don't like what Gensler's been doing, but they haven't put out clear policy. And Brian highlighted here all of the hypocrisy and lies and conflicting statements from the SEC. They put it here in a table, what's a digital asset security and much more. And we know there's this ambiguity because we're dealing with a scumbag regulator that is Gary Gensler. So I love that Brian is doing this. Paul Grewal, chief legal officer at Coinbase, weighed in as well. He says, what does arbitrary mean? Look at the chart. What does capricious mean? Look at the chart. What is unfair notice? Look at the chart. Want to see why a once proud driver of economic growth and investor protection is now anything but? You know what to do. So I love that the crypto industry is taking the gloves off and punching back against the bully. Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler are going to be left on an island by themselves because their anti-crypto army buddies are dropping like flies in the elections. They're backing out of anti-crypto bills and much more. So we are winning, folks, and crypto's here to stay. And speaking of the election, Eleanor Turret of Fox Business did some great reporting here. She said, with just 1 week out from the election, we're getting some new crypto election spending numbers. According to recent FEC filings, the crypto industry has now donated well over $200 million to various PACs, candidates, and political organizations. More to come on this. Some things she highlighted here is for Donald Trump. Howard Lutnick, who's the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, he donated around $6.4 million. The Gemini Exchange founders, Tyler and Cameron, donated $2.04 million. Jesse Powell of Kraken, $844,943, and on and on. But what's interesting is that there are some donations to Kamala Harris, like Chris Larson, Ripple, $11.7 million. Tech blockchain investor, it looks like his name is Vinod Kulsha. I don't know who that is, but he gave $1 million. Reid Hoffman, early Coinbase investor, donated $250,000. So clearly Trump got the majority, the lion's share of the money here, and we know why, right? But look, I think the fact that many Democrats in Congress are pro-crypto now, supporting the industry, and it doesn't matter if Kamala Harris wins and we don't know her policy because her party is already pro-crypto. There are many members of the House and Senate who are now looking to get legislation through. And Paxos CEO urges Harris and Trump to create pro-crypto regulations ahead of U.S. legislation. Paxos CEO sent a letter to presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump on Tuesday. The CEO also criticized the current regulatory environment for crypto, calling it an inhospitable place for financial innovation. So I love that the industry is coming out, speaking, putting the pressure, putting their money where their mouth is, right? That's very important. And I'll be interviewing the CEO of Paxos again pretty soon. That's Charles Cascarilla. And they're doing some big things with different stablecoin issuers. So guys, like I said, we're winning. We're on the winning side of history. The markets are looking bullish. I hope you are as bullish as I am. Have a plan, know what your cash out points and price points are, and know what you're doing, guys. Write it down. And a great way you can support me in the podcast is to subscribe to my free email newsletter. Also, grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It's available on Amazon in paperback and digital. If you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. It will really help me out. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.